Hey y'all, what's up? Kinsey here. Today I want to talk about something that I think is one of the most important pieces of preparing for a backpacking trip. So I feel like so often we see people talk about gear, we talk about route planning, we talk about how to use maps and all of those things. And while all of those things are very, very, very important, I think preparing your body for the route and for the trip that you're doing is just as important as anything else that you do to prepare for a trip. I feel like some YouTubers have said you don't need to train for a hike, you don't need to train for a thru hike, just go out there. The best way to train is to just be out there. And while that is true, we definitely can't train in the gym for 12 hours a day. It's just not realistic. But I do find that we can do a lot of things in preparation for our backpacking trips, hikes, thru hikes, so that we can enjoy our time out on trail better and we can prevent injuries. And so today I want to talk about 10 exercises that I would incorporate into any routine if you are planning on backpacking or hiking or thru hiking. If you have that on the calendar and you know that you need to prepare, these are 10 exercises that I would add into your training routine. So before we jump in, you may be saying, Kinsey, why are you qualified to share this information with us? Well, I am not a certified personal trainer. That is not my job, but I have been a personal trainer in the past. I was a college athlete, and health and wellness and fitness have been core pieces of my life for a really long time. And so this is one of my passions. It is not my job and my career, but I do feel like I know a good bit about this topic. So for this video or for these exercises, I am going to recommend you using one set of dumbbells. So I recommend you pick a weight that is going to be equivalent to what your pack weighs. So I'm going to be using two 15-pound dumbbells. I find that my pack weighs normally about 30 pounds, especially at the start of a trip when I have all of my food, lots of water, and all of that stuff. So I'm going to be using those. However, you are going to see me use a weighted vest at some point in this video as one of my favorite ways to train for backpacking season. And so if you want to just buy a weighted vest, if you don't have any dumbbells or anything and you just want to pick one, you can definitely do all of this with a weighted vest. And my weighted vest is only 20 pounds, but I still think that it's worth getting in that movement and getting in those exercises even with that weight. And so either pick up a set of dumbbells or a weighted vest, but that is what you're going to need for these exercises. So one thing I will recommend as you're doing your training is actually to train barefoot and without shoes on. And the reason being is you have a lot of ligaments and tendons and things in your feet that are always working while you're out on trail that just don't get that same movement in our everyday life. And so I really think strengthening your toes and your feet and all of those ligaments and tendons, one of the best ways to do that is to do things barefoot so that all of those ligaments and tendons are engaged and we can help strengthen them a little bit. Okay, so you've bought the gear, you've planned the route, now it's time to physically prepare. So let's get into it and let me show you these 10 exercises that you can either do as one workout or you can figure out how to incorporate them into your own already existing routine. I would recommend doing each exercise 12 to 15 times and 3 times through. So if you're going to do this as a class, that is what I would recommend. But if you're going to incorporate this into your already existing routine and just add a couple exercises here and there, you do with it as you please. This is just a guide into some exercises that are going to help best prepare you for backpacking season. Okay, before we hop into it, please hit that like button. Please subscribe to this channel if you find this type of content helpful. And drop in the comments your favorite way to prepare for backpacking season, your favorite exercises, and what you want to see next if there's something else kind of in this general area that you would like to see more of. So without further ado, guys, let's hop into it. Okay, so the first exercise we're going to do is alternating front and back lunges with the same leg. So let me show you what that looks like. Okay, so I love this exercise because it's really good for balance. At the beginning, you're gonna feel yourself really struggling with that balance. So if you do, you can bring your foot back to the middle and reset, but I want you to try to go forward and back without letting that foot hit the ground. This is an awesome exercise for your legs, for your balance, and for your hip flexors specifically. Okay, so let me show you what it looks like with the weights. Anytime we're doing any of these exercises, you can do what I'm gonna call a farmer's carry, or you can rack them here if you want as well. Okay, so front and back, that's 1, not 2. Do that 12 to 15 times. And then once you have done the right leg, switch to the left leg. Okay, next up we have a squat to a press. So I want you to hold the dumbbells in between your legs. We're gonna squat down here. We're gonna curl up those dumbbells, and then we're gonna press. So the reason I love this is oftentimes we end up having to squat with our backpack on. I like the curl because depending on how you pick up your backpack, chances are your arms go like this. So it's really good for helping us get those muscles strengthened to pick up our backpack. And then the press is obviously just good for our core and all of our body. Okay, so let me show you what it looks like in real time. Okay, next up we are going to incorporate curtsy lunges. And what that looks like is you're gonna plant one foot, you're gonna take the other foot, swing it behind you, step back, and lunge. Okay, I love curtsy lunges because they help with our glutes, and then really they help with balance, and then just working some of those muscles at a different angle, which is gonna help prevent injury. So with the weights. I think this one is also really helpful at strengthening your knees and your ankles as well. Okay, so for this next exercise, I'd recommend doing this on a book or stairs if you have it. If not, that's totally okay. You can do it on just a flat ground. But I think having that negative motion definitely helps engage your calves a little bit better. So I'm gonna show you on the ground and then I'll show you on the book as well. But we're gonna do 3 versions of calf raises. So first, toes are gonna be facing forward and you're just gonna come up and down. Up and down. Next, I want you to point your toes inwards, swivel your heels out, and then same thing. Up, down, up, down. Lastly, put those heels together, point your toes out, and same thing. Up, down, down. So I love doing this on a book or stairs because your heels actually get to go negative past, which stretches out your Achilles, and then we can push up, and we're actually having to work those calves a lot more because we're taking them a further distance. Okay, so most of those were leg workouts. So now let's transition into some core exercises. So first up, we're going to do deadlifts. So whenever people think of their core, they usually just think about the front side, but your back side is also just as important. So whenever we deadlift, we are working kind of this whole back area here. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your dumbbells, you're gonna hinge at the hips, send those hips back, drop those weights down to your shins, and then you're gonna pull back up and squeeze here, okay? You wanna make sure that you keep your back really flat Okay, one thing I forgot to mention just on the deadlifts is I also really like having the weight and getting used to hinging with weight on my back, because if I drop something with my pack on, I have to pick it up. It's obviously really helpful. So next thing we're gonna do is a core twist. So we're gonna hold that weight out in front of us if we can, if we have the strength to do that. And we're gonna twist to the left, back to the center, and then we're gonna twist to the right. If this is really challenging for you, just work on holding the weight right here, but we do a lot of motion like this as we're hiking, so we want to make sure that we keep that core definitely engaged and strong, and that is what this exercise is helping us with. So this is the modified version. We'll hold it just like this. We'll twist to the right, back to the middle, twist to the left. Okay, if possible, out, left, and right. Okay, next up for core, we are going to do an exercise. We actually won't need any weights for this. So we are going to do a plank, and we are going to pick up our legs, left, right, left, right. So this is not only working our front, but it's also working that back as well. Really important that whenever you lift your leg, you don't open your hips like this. You want to try to create as little as rotation as possible. So just up. Okay, none of this. All right, so there's some core work. Now let's talk a little bit about mobility. So I find that hips and knees and ankles are definitely the areas that most people get injured whenever they are out backpacking or hiking. And so we definitely want to focus on those three things. So for a mobility exercise for your hips, one thing that you're going to do is you're going to put a weight out in front of you like so. You're going to put your feet out in front of you, and then you're just going to work on picking that leg up, dropping it down over to the side. Okay, you want to do this really slow and controlled. So up, over, down. Up, over, down. Okay, and then you'll just switch sides. So same thing, up, over, down, up, over, down. Okay, so now if you do have a weighted vest, we are definitely going to switch into that if possible. If not, you can use your dumbbells for one of these exercises. For the other, I would recommend just putting on your pack. You don't even have to pack it correctly. Just throw some weights in there, so throw some things that are heavy, and just get familiar with walking with weight on your back, whether that's a mile around your neighborhood or whatever that may be. Just getting used to what it feels like to walk with weight on your back, I find is really helpful in this process. Hey, sweet pea. Hi, puppy. Hey, girl. Okay, so if you have a set of stairs in your house, this is a great place to do step-ups. If you have a bench, if you have concrete or a rock outside, there's so many different ways that you can do step-ups. But what you're going to do is you can do it with your weighted vest, or you can do it with your dumbbells if you want to. If you're going to do them inside, totally up to you. But what you're going to do, come on, Murph, get down. You can start with just one step, totally up to you. Work up to trying to do 2 steps. And if you're feeling really confident, go to that 3rd step. I find that all of these are realistic heights that you're going to have to step up on trail. And so definitely trying 1, 2, or 3. So I find that this is one of the best ways to recreate what it feels like climbing up some mountains. Now, there are a lot that are at an incline, but depending on where you are, there are just huge steps that you have to take and that you have to get up. Hi, Banjo. Would you like to say hello too? Say hello too. All right, y'all, and then last but not least, just put on that weighted vest or put on some weight if that's your backpack, if that's all that you have, and get outside and get walking. If all you can do is a mile around your house, that's great. If you have hills or mountains in your area, definitely hop on some of those with the weight as well. But make it a family affair, bring out the pups, and just get moving, y'all. There are so many injuries that can be prevented from just training properly. And so we definitely don't want any of y'all hurt while you're out on the trail. So I hope that this video has been helpful. I hope that you incorporate some of these things into your movement and just get outside, get some fresh air. Happy backpacking season, guys.